What do you think about the Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Friday night was not good. That looked abysmal. Obviously, Worthy gets hurt on the third play, and the broadcast was talking about how much the offense was supposed to run through him this year. Should we be worried about Kansas City, especially because the Chargers in their division look like one of the best teams in football?
Yeah, I'm concerned about Kansas City. I still like my notes from watching the game are like it's still a very catch and throw offense. It feels like everything is still a very short throw offense. That's what Patrick Mahomes. And I know that they have some speed. Obviously, Hollywood's there. Xavier going down. Thornton had some stuff. I mean, that's one of the throws of the game. Outside of Patrick making like 3 or 4 absolutely preposterous plays and/or throws, you're sitting there going, everything's this dink and dunk catch and throw offense still. And like I still think, and Coach Arians would know a lot better than me, but like I still think
like that.
The teams that are throwing the ball down the field and creating chunks, you're doing it off some form of a play action something, like Baltimore, Green Bay, Buffalo, and that's just not where the Chiefs are again. And I do not believe that is going to be good enough to win that division or make another run. I think you'll skate by a little bit here and there, but the offense to me just is still so short.
So on that note, there was a stat that went out, from Seth Buska here. Since 2019, Patrick Mahomes' elite deep ball has clearly declined. Deep ball accuracy fell from 51% to 21%. But then there's also a stat about the number of completions over 20 yards or 30 yards.
Yeah.
He's 32nd or 34th out of NFL quarterbacks over the last 2 years versus the first couple years he was number 1. Now that's the Tyreek Hill effect, I think, in that entire thing, which is why Tyreek just sitting on the sideline, just doing this as opposed to going and saying, get me out of here, to go back to Kansas City, that they need me. I think we should commend that. Who knows what the rest of the season looks like for Tyreek and the Miami Dolphins. But they literally no risk it, and it seems like they still get the biscuit, though. They've won the AFC Championship.
They have.
I think they've hosted the AFC Championship the last 7 years or something like that. They obviously won it last year, and they weren't throwing the deep ball at all. To Dan's point, is that sustainable for success in the NFL right now if you don't have any deep threat? Or I guess what his biggest concern was maybe not a good enough run game to maybe set that whole thing up is kind of what Dan.
I think that's the key. Andy's always run the ball well. And wherever Andy Reid's been, he's always run the ball well. And they had good play action. They've always had a great short passing game. I think they're missing the run after catch guy. All right, so if you're going to throw all those dink and dunks, somebody's got to break one and get 15 or 20. You got to get a chunk play out of a short pass. I don't see it happening.
So Rice out, Xavier Worthy out. Both those guys, probably yak guys, if I had to guess. And the way they were talking about how much Worthy was going to be part of the offense, feels like maybe they were going to get back on their Tyreek bullshit with Xavier Worthy, who can also run a 4.2 or whatever it is. So him being knocked out early, I guess we all missed out on some electricity from that particular offense. And I can't wait to see how it goes going forward. Okay, so we actually found the stat that Patrick Mahomes, when he was targeting receivers 20 yards down the field, in his first whatever year, 6 years in the league, he was number 1. Yeah, let me see what this is here. Yeah, that's the stat right there. Passing the receivers 20-plus yards downfield. Shout out to YouTube having this graphic. 2018 to 2022, he led the NFL. And then 2023 and 24, last 2 years, he's 33rd out of 34 quarterbacks, so worst in the league. Is that all just because he loses Tyreek, or what do you think it is?
I think more than that, all the speed guys have gotten hurt the last couple of years. And they have become more of a ball control passing team. And that's what Andy does so good. He does whatever his players can do. He puts them in position to succeed. And if I can't protect you, or if I don't have the guys to get down there, why try it? Don't beat your head into the wall.
With Spags' defense, too, being smart, just not turning the ball over, no risky in this entire thing. I think that was a part of the conversation 2 years ago for Patrick, wasn't it, D-Buck?
I know for sure last year, 2 years ago, probably so too, but last year they didn't create a bunch of explosive plays, but they were I think one of the best in the league on third down. So critical down. So, yeah, you're not getting those big chunk plays, but you're getting the 3rd and 4s, you're getting the 3rd and 3s, and he's making the right decision or making something happen with his legs.
And he's going to run over you, DBs.
I hate that.
He's going to run over you. You linebackers will get it too.
People got real mad about
this. Shit happens week 4 and he gets smoked on the sideline. We don't want to see a flag coming out now if 15 is going to be doing that. to defenders. But he shows up in the critical, which Andy Reid is a big part of that too. They show up in the critical situations.
Anybody can get it. That's what Patrick Mahomes is saying. Anybody can get it.
And they've always been great in the red zone.
Yes.
Always been great in the red zone.
Third down and red area.
Yeah, and the team you're talking about was when Spags came on 2 years ago, and he said, this is the first time I've ever coached a unit where every single guy is one of the highest IQ football players that I've ever coached. And that's when they were just kind of pounding the rock with Pacheco early on.
And I think Patrick Mahomes had a press conference, too, where he had so much respect for the defense. He was like, I can't be turning the ball over.
Yeah.
We got to be smart. Sometimes I need to realize that the punt is the best thing that we could possibly do because of how dominant our defense is, because of the 11 players all being on the same page. It's like they figured out different ways to win. But when you talk about those chunk plays and being able to get a little bit of a head start down the field, maybe even flipping field position, it's like the Chiefs have not had a lot of it over the last couple of years.
As some coaches would always talk about, the biggest indicator on who's going to win the game, obviously after score, field position, turnover differential, and explosive plays. Who's giving up or creating the chunk plays? Yeah, that's shit always.
Yeah, explosive plays.
I think last year it became
explosive plays became the stat of the year. Yeah, exactly.
And even when they do now, it seems like it's off script, and it's like Mahomes is slipping out of a couple sacks, and he has to do something miraculous. It's not just like a play action shot. Our guy beat the other guy. We're gonna get it. It feels like every time they do get a chunk play, like Mahomes needs to pull a rabbit out of his hat. He needs to do something crazy. Like it's very difficult for them to. If they're not just dinking and dunking, move the ball down the field.
That's a crazy
And they haven't had the offensive line they had a couple years ago. The injuries and a couple guys not making it, playing the way they should play. He hasn't had the time he's had when he had earlier.
You guys had a pretty good plan.
Yeah, I mean, we had a front four. Todd Bowles had an unbelievable game plan for him. And because they whooped the shit out of us earlier in that season. We're playing a bunch of man-to-man, and I think Tyreek had 200 that year. And so, okay, we'll fix this. But, we put Vita and Sue out wide, put JPP and Shaq inside, and they just crushed the pocket, and they go chase Patrick all over the damn field.
Feel smart.
Genius.
Just do that every time.
And we talking all this stuff about the Chiefs. They were just in the Super Bowl. They were in the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl the year before that. Won the year before that. You said hosted 7 straight AFC championships.
Yeah.
And they start off 0-1, and we're sitting here like, oh man, it's all.
Not me. This is you guys.
No, the Chiefs.
They'll be all right.
I think a majority of us realistically think the Chiefs will be okay. But over that time, the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders have gotten exponentially better. Like the Chargers now with Harbaugh, and I still don't think they're better.
Brandon Staley ain't coaching the Chargers anymore.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Well, it's just it's
the truth.
It's just the truth.
What was that, Coach?
It's the truth.
They're not. When Brandon Staley
Shots fired.
When Brandon Staley, when we had Tom Telesco on one time, when Brandon Staley was the head coach, and he talked about how the Charger style of football with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen it's high,
fun.
Scoring, it's fun, it's look at this is cool. And that was actually their, and I'm not saying the cool part was actually their mentality, but the style of explosive plays with those guys was real. And now with Harbaugh, it's more, hey, I'm going to punch you in the fucking mouth with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater and Khalil Mack, and Herbert's going to hand the ball off 30 times a game instead of him throwing it 55 times a game like Anthony fucking Lynn was having him doing early on before he ended up getting fired, going to Detroit and then getting fired. But again, the Chargers are better, and the Chiefs.
Great running back.
The Chiefs O-line, to BA's point about their O-line, their best player, their Hall of Famer, who got them to the Super Bowl, people were saying, was Joe Tooney. And they traded him away after Joe Tooney went left guard to left tackle. But to the O-line point, Josh Simmons also looked fucking awesome.
I still believe the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. But we have seen that when the Chiefs don't do good is when they don't have a good offensive line. Like that is what we've seen.
Always.
Like Patrick Mahomes can make his magic, but doesn't matter in the big games. And playing against good teams, like you're gonna be able to win games. That's why all season
the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And all season we're trying to figure out whether or not our team is real or not.